Chapter 20. Siean. Bina and the others are waiting for me by the horses.
"I've prepared a horse for the princess, your majesty,"
says Roshem. He's such a pathetic replacement for Didia, rest his soul. She's not joining us. I reach for my horse and stroke his forehead.
"She refused."
Bina turns to me aghast. I didn't ask her. I roll my eyes at her.
"But why not?"
she exclaims. Because, unlike you, I don't ask questions I already know the answers to, I answer impatiently.
But she couldn't possibly stay with them. It is one thing to be kidnapped, but to choose to stay with the cursed ones,
she cries, appalled. The men of our entourage look at anything but us. Well, that's how it is. Who knows? Maybe she'll squeeze out some little cursed ones and make me an aunt, I state cheerfully, because Bina looks like she's going to have a stroke. Oh, goddess, please make it so. I'm so tired of the old hag. An aunt? I wonder what colors such a baby would have. I'll probably never get to see it anyway. Every time the butcher glances at me, I see in his eyes that my life is hanging by a thread. He must really love her if I just walked out of that tent unharmed. No way he'll ever let me near a child of his. And it's not like she can stand me either. Doesn't matter. I don't like babies anyway, and I'll probably be the world's shittiest aunt.
"Siean, how can you say such a thing of your sister? Your own blood! Your mother's soul would weep from the sky for such abomination."
I do a theatrical search of the sky for my dead mother's tears. Nope, no tears. But she's right on that one. After all, my mother was a purist through and through. Everything she did was for the glory of Renya, to free Renya from the grip of Aldon. A noble cause indeed. One I once died for. But truly, it should be of no surprise. She was utterly devoted to the goddess, to Renya. Her dream was to serve as a sister of the goddess in one of the hidden temples. But she gave up on her dream, on everything that was her, and married Rod. So she could serve as the highest Renyan spy. So she could serve Renya, as instructed by the former queen and king. Why else would she marry her enemy? Aldon was never an ally in my mother's eyes. She believed Renya should rule Amada, the goddess to be worshipped by all. To her, the Aldonians were no better than maggots, with their false god and never-ending thirst for power. She was so deeply religious that she left her home to live among them and married her enemy's king. Why else would she let him show her off as his prize in front of his drooling royals? Why else let him mount her like a dog in heat and fill her with his unworthy seed? In the Aldonian way, he loved her. But in Renya, we don't consider such things as love. Possessiveness and ownership are not considered love. Women are not prized mares to show off, mount as their owner pleases, and kill once he dies. But my mother's sacrifice was not for nothing. She served her country truly. She plotted and spied and became an asset. She served the former queen and king until their last breaths. When Tilil became queen, my mother served her. Her loyalty wasn't to her parents. It was to the goddess, to the people. But when she learned of the use of the Mongan's horns, she was horrified that those of her own blood would act so repugnantly. For what greater sin can there be against the goddess than to unmake her sentence? Only the goddess can decide who lives and who dies. The immortality drug is an abomination. It is a challenge to the goddess herself. And my mother also understood that the ones in pursuit of immortality care not for the people. They care not that the poor starve, that their sacred gift for healing stagnates. They care only for themselves, for their youth. So she arranged a coup. She attempted to replace Tilil with me, but she was betrayed, and Tilil found out. She never realized Rod had developed a dependency on Tilil, that he was consuming the immortality drug himself. Therefore, his alliance was with Tilil. When he realized his wife and daughter were slowly being murdered, he didn't intervene. Unlike his wife, he wasn't a fanatic. If he had been, he wouldn't have consumed the immortality drug to begin with. He was simply a coward. And still is. But Mother's crusade against the immortality drug was never for the sake of the cursed ones. The truth is, she couldn't care less about them. If she'd seen how Lian and the butcher looked at each other, she would have stopped at nothing to end it. I will never say that to Lian. She is determined to idolize our mother. I can give her that. An idol. I wish I had an idol. An hour's ride brings us to our camp, east of the Cursed Ones. I go directly to my tent, and everyone in my way hurries to genuflect. I haven't quite gotten used to it. All that reverence, and, yes, Your Majesty. Anything you wish, Your Majesty. Your Majesty is so wise. No wonder Tilil was so full of herself. My tent is the largest in the camp. The fabric is all silver. Its shape reminds me of a circus tent. But I don't dare tell that to my people. They'd be heartbroken, thinking they had failed Her Majesty. At least the inside looks good, with lavish carpets and a bed large enough for a threesome, as I made sure of last night. Bina follows me inside, so I go straight to the wet bar and pour myself a full glass of wine. I gulp it like it's water, bracing myself for what's coming. I've been waiting for you to be in a less testy mood for this conversation, Bina says in a tight voice. Me being not testy while you are in a room is an oxymoron. So out with it. You still blame me for everything, she sighs. Yep, I answer and throw myself onto the couch, putting my feet on the table in the most unroyal manner possible. Your mother never did anything against her will. She wanted to take your aunt down, Bina tells me. I shut my eyes, feeling my headache intensify. My mother would never have gone ahead with the dumb coup if Bina hadn't promised the support of the council. But Bina's political abilities are average at best. She's not a bad person, just inept. And it cost my mother and me our lives. Rutana never got a second chance, and I'm so angry at her and miss her at the same time. Just say what it is you came to say, I demand of Bina, because there is no point discussing the past with her. You need to get married, she blurts out. I open my eyes and stare at her. Has she finally lost it? Not going to happen, I say curtly. Be reasonable, Siean. You need an heir. I can't help but laugh at that. She sighs and raises her hands in frustration. Your position at the council is too weak. If you don't get a powerful family as your ally, you'll soon be dead. You know this, she cries in frustration. I'm not marrying a man, Bina, I shudder. The mere idea of lying with a man is as appealing to me as pubic hair on a soap bar. Is that what it's about? You can have as many lovers as you want. It's even easier this way. Your husband won't need to worry about bastards, she says. Men, I slur. Even Renyan men have a tendency to try to control their wives. I'm not giving some power-lusting royal power over me. Tilil never got married, and she ruled for 20 years. You're not Tilil, Siean. You won't murder the families of your opposition. You won't send the decapitated children's heads to your opponents. She remained on the throne because she was a cold-hearted psychopath. And that's not who you are. Pretend it as you may. My head throbs. It's like knives are stabbing it. The withdrawal from the immortality drug takes its toll on me. In the beginning, everything hurt. The bones, the muscles, the skin. Aging 9 years and 1 month is hard on the body. The headaches didn't pass, and Bina isn't helping with them either. A servant walks inside.
Healer Anya Shoki said you asked for her, Your Majesty.
My headache is only going to get worse. Bring her in, I tell him. You're dismissed. I wave Bina off. I've had enough of her for the day. For a lifetime. I go to the wet bar and pour myself another glass of wine. Your Majesty, Anya says, giving a curtsy as she enters the tent. Good news. You're the new head of the royal healers, I announce to her. She blinks in surprise. I haven't spoken to her in a month. She looks the same, beautiful in the same way. And I look 9 years older. Not a 16-year-old anymore, but a 25-year-old woman. For the first time in years, Anya and I look the same age. What does she think of it? I can't help but wonder. I've never been pretty. I'm not ugly, but my nose was always a bit too long and my forehead a bit too high. My indigo curls are mostly untamed. But Anya, with her big aqua eyes and soft, matching aqua hair, is perfect. And she gets more beautiful every year. Fuck my life. Why? She finally asks gingerly. Because you're the best healer in Renya, I shrug. She is the best, and I couldn't care less if her blood is royal or not. The favoring of origin over talent is one of the reasons for Renya's downfall. Of course, the universities have also grown average. How can they excel when they're not choosing the most talented person for the job only because their family is insignificant? Things were different in Renya before the Aldonian grip on us. And the saddest part is they never forced us to prefer our royals over our commoners. The royals just seized the opportunity for more power. I'll make her head of the royal healers because she is the best healer in Renya, despite how young she is. And despite how having her around me is going to be a nightmare. People will talk, she scoffs. I lounge back on the couch. Are you going to pass up the highlight of your career because of gossip? I raise an eyebrow in question. Is this your way of trying to get me back? I'm so shocked I almost choke on my wine. She knows she is the best healer, doesn't she? That's the only reason Tilil hasn't killed her yet. That and me making sure she'll never know how important she is to me. I wouldn't take you back even if you got down on your knees and begged me, I slur at her. Great, now I have the image of her on her knees. I said it before, but I'll say it again. Fuck my life. She crosses her arms and looks down at me. The last one on her knees was you. I gulp my wine and can't help but smile behind my glass at her bite. It's true. I was on my knees the last time. Anya was spread open to me on the table in the royal library, sweet and perfect like always. It was the wee hours and the library was empty. Still, it was so reckless and stupid. And I never felt more wanting, more alive, more loving. I had never been in love before her. Or after. But that was more than 2 years ago. She smirks knowingly at my heated face. Fine, I accept. Then she adds, there are great changes to be made. Her voice turns pensive. The healers were so transfixed with the immortality drug that they completely neglected simple remedies that could have been used instead to save lives. The entire curriculum for new students needs updating. And oh, Siean, I have so many ideas for improvement. She flashes a toothy grin. She looks so happy. Genuinely happy. I can't help but smile at her, and she beams at me. When was the last time I made her smile? Probably then at the library. I can't bear it, her happiness, so I tell her, Great, so I'll need half a liter of mola. Half a liter? She gasps. That's mola enough to take down a horse. 2 horses. Don't question your queen's orders, I glower at her. Is the withdrawal so hard? And damn if it's not genuine concern in her eyes. Half a liter of mola in an hour, and leave it outside with one of the servants. I have no need to see you again. I dismiss her. She takes 3 steps toward me and puts her hand over mine. It feels so good, even that little touch, so I pull away abruptly. But Anya doesn't even flinch. Let me be your friend. Only a friend. You need a friend, Siean. The throne is lonely and you're in pain. I see your pain. She sees my pain. She's the only one ever to see it. To ever see me. All I want to do is curl myself into her, let her stroke my hair like she once did. Which is why she can't be my friend. I will never be able to stop us from becoming lovers again. Not if she is so close and caring. Tilil is not dead. My guess is she's in Aldon, but my spies have yet to confirm. Wherever she is, she's planning her return. And she has dark magic. Powerful dark magic. My mother made it her life mission to fight against it, and she lost. We all did. And now I'm just biding my time. Because the most powerful witch in Amada will be back for her throne, and I'll die again. And if I'm lucky, she won't resurrect me this time. Only I've never been lucky. I must make sure Anya won't be caught between us. She can't become a pawn against me. I'll never be able to bear seeing her get tortured the way I was. Anything is better. So I stab her where it will hurt the most. She'll never want anything to do with me again. I laugh icily. You just don't get it, do you? It was fun, Anya, but in the end you'll always be nigh. And I am royal. I'm the queen, for fuck's sake. I fuck nighs all the time. I had 2 of them in my bed last night. But that is all a nigh can ever be for a queen. Her face freezes, her mind struggling to accept the betrayal. I have never ever used that word before. It's despicable. But I don't know how else to push her so far away. I'm not strong enough to do it. So I throw that word in her face. That word they said to her again and again when she arrived in Milisuri. It's a word only royals would use. The asshole kind of royals. The ones who think a girl with no shoes, a girl with no food in her belly, is not just poor. She's a reincarnation of a sinner. Her poverty is the punishment for her past life, because the goddess is generous. Otherwise, why would a Renyan be poor? If you are poor, then you are damaged. You are only better than the cursed ones. Anya rises, and her hands shake. Her mother died because the village healer refused to heal nighes. And a midwife is no healer. There is no word that would ever burn her more. She told me that herself, once when she trusted me. How stupid of her to trust someone like me. She's always so bright. Only with me she's stupid, forgetting to guard her heart. She doesn't manage to stop her voice from shaking, her eyes watery. I'll make sure a second healer will bring Her Majesty the Mola and act as her personal healer. She bows and leaves. And part of me is insulted, even angry at her that she would believe I'd ever give a shit about something like that. That she believed the worst of me, the only person who ever truly saw me. But then, it's been 2 years now that I've only shown her the worst of me. There's pain, so much pain. It hurts to die. But not nearly as much as it does to be brought back to life. There's fire scorching me from inside. Internally, I'm all blisters and gore, but outside, I'm whole and young.
Did you think I wouldn't find out? Silly little thing. I will always find out, my little phoenix.
Tilil's voice is piercing me like 1,000 knives. I want to scream in pain, but there is only ash in my mouth and lava in my throat. Are you all right? A feminine voice asks me. I think you had a nightmare, Your Highness. Anya. No, of course it's not Anya. What's her name? I can't remember. No, I never asked. It's nearly dawn. My saliva tastes like ash, so I let the nameless woman make it all go away for a little while. Then I dismiss her and gulp some champagne with a ridiculous amount of mola. Ha! Let's see who kills me first. Tilil or myself. I'm the underdog. Everyone roots for the underdog. I let the servants dress me. No pants this time. The formal white gown, the crown. You can't have anything less when you meet the Crown Prince of Aldon. My hands get clammy at the thought of finally seeing my baby brother. It's been 13 years. He was just 6 when Rod violently took him from us. A snake in our paradise. I think it was Tilil who turned Rod against us, who told Rod my mother taught healing to Nikanor. It's not all she taught him. She taught him the old language and the old religion, the ways of the goddess. All this in her quarters inside the premises of the king of Aldon's palace, the spreader of the true religion. What a crazy purist she was. Fanatic to the bitter end. It broke her, though, to lose Nikanor. I always thought he was her favorite, despite his red hair and eyes. Or maybe because of it. Maybe he was a pawn to her agenda like everyone else. Because if she could have molded him to her faith, the Crown Prince of Aldon, the Crown Prince of all Amada, what a prize for Renya that would have been. Fanfare from outside the tent announces the arrival of the future king, and 3 Aldonian men enter the tent. I recognize Rashkan first, and bile rises to my throat. There are not many people I hate and fear, but Rashkan is the manifestation of everything that is wrong and corrupt in Aldon. And the main problem with him is that he is a genius. A master of manipulation and a gifted strategist who has a complete lack of morals and no ability to empathize. Therefore, he has very few limits. The other man is introduced as Najan, a general in the Aldonian army. He looks like a slob and a drunk. Yeah, takes one to know one. And then walks in my baby brother. He looks so handsome and tall. He resembles our father, with his strong nose and high forehead. His colors are also the same as Rod's, like a fresh rose. How did he get so tall and manly? If I were sentimental, I would sob, but I don't do sentiment. Mostly. Bina and 2 other members of the council stand by my side. We all bow to one another. Rashkan opens.
His Highness is here as acting regent of Aldon, Renya, and Kozari. Our beloved king has been unable to fulfill his duties for the crown for the past 2 weeks. A great and fast decline has occurred in his health.
Yeah, being cut off the immortality drug can do that to a sick old man. Once I took power and banned the chests full of the drug, the sand in Rod's hourglass finally started moving. It is very pleasing that the regent himself has come to deal with the catastrophe of the return of the demicads, Bina declares near me. It is very tiring, this habit of letting councillors speak instead of the royals. Yet it has its advantages. It leaves me freer to be observant, and I notice the surprise on the face of the general and the flexing muscle in my brother's jaw. Only Rashkan smiles like a cat eyeing a cornered mouse before he says,
Our regent will continue protecting Amada from any threat at Sun's guidance. Yet we have arrived here for far more joyous reasons. The head of the House of Oro has placed his niece on the throne of Kozari. Quite unprecedented, and so young she is. Fortunately for us, he has a son. an unwed son, and the allied queen is unwed as well, although she's been of age for years now," he declared, his face souring suddenly at the reminder of my age. In Aldon, women marry at the age of 15 at the latest. My sister is out of the ordinary in more ways than one, and me, I'm considered an old hag there at 25. Then he adds, "A match made by Sun himself." "We shall consider this offer, Your Holiness," says another one of my advisors, Yuna, in a solemn voice. They all know I'd die before I marry a Kozari man. Goddess knows I proved it already. Literally. Tilil suffocated me to death in an outburst of rage at my defiance. Then she brought me back. Again. Roshkan raises an eyebrow. "Consider? It is not an opportunity to be missed. After all, the Regent has only one legitimate sister. And if another failed attempt to marry into Kozari will leave him with none, you shall not shed a tear," Bina snaps. The old hag is not annoying me for a second. That's a first. But I've had enough, or maybe I've just had a little bit too much champagne. "The Regent has 2 legitimate sisters, you fucking snake," I slur at Roshkan. The thing is, Aldonian men don't handle women swearing very well. They're very delicate. Nikanor flinches at my words and clenches his jaws. "You use the language of the gutter like a whore, just like your sister has become a whore." Najan lashes out and steps toward me with menace in his eyes. I knew he was a drunk. But Nikanor steps in front of him and roars at him. "You dare threaten an allied queen!" "Your Majesty," Najan starts. "Out! All of you out!" Nikanor yells, and they all hurry to leave us. Once we're alone, I reach my hand to his face. "Nikki," I gasp. "Don't call me that," he says, stepping away from me. He runs his hand through his hair. "Why must you always provoke?" I shrug. Interesting things come to shore once the sea is stirring. I walk to the wet bar and pour 2 glasses of champagne. I hand one of the glasses to him, but he shakes his head and looks at me disapprovingly. "It's forbidden by Sun, as you well know," he says. Only the most religious Aldonians avoid alcohol in private, so I nearly choke on my champagne from his words. Is he really eating up all that crap of the true religion? But I'm not stupid or drunk enough to challenge his beliefs out loud. "Why do you let Roshkan conduct your affairs? That man is a viper. After all that he has done to our family." "He has done his job. If that woman hadn't been so foolish, he never would have bothered himself with our family." His voice is harsh. "Our mother—" I start, but he snaps. "She's not my mother." "Ungrateful brat. She carried you in her womb, gave birth to you, and raised you to the bitter end." I can't stop myself from scolding him. "She was the reason that brought us all to this bitter end." He crosses his arms. Well, it's hard to argue against that. I decide to change the subject. "When will you turn over Tilil?" I ask. "Tilil is not in Aldon. Didn't your spies inform you?" He snorts. Fuck. Where the fuck is she? He must be reading my shock because he adds bitterly. "Relax, your throne is far more secure than mine." How is that supposed to make me relax? "But you are Rod's only legitimate son!" I exclaim. "A son with half Renyan blood. Well, he has a son of pure Aldonian blood from the 2nd strongest house in Aldon." He's a bastard, and bastards are insignificant, I argue. "Is that why he made him the head of the army? Because he is insignificant?" He turns rigid. "Do you realize how that makes me look? The Regent not serving as the head of the army? It's unheard of. Doram and his cunning uncle are like vultures circling him, driving him out of his mind, exploiting his fear of his approaching death. I can't lose Roshkan as an ally. And I need an achievement to show. A wedding with the puppeteer of the new Kozari queen will be such an achievement.
This is bad. Very bad. For all Rutana's children. No, you need an achievement on the battlefield. That is the only way to get those small-minded fools respect. I pace in front of him while forming a plan. He scoffs at me.
Were you not listening? He made Dorum the head of the army.
And what is Dorum doing with the demicats? This is your opportunity. Lian has the ability to defeat the demicats, I tell my brother. He looks at me like I've lost my mind.
What in Sun's name are you talking about?
There is a prophecy. He cuts through my words.
I don't want to hear that blasphemy.
I've seen it, Nikki. I saw her talking to a demicad with my own eyes, and she managed to convince it to spare us. And the cursed ones will fight for her.
You're expecting me to associate myself with those animals?
He roars and looms over me. When did he get so tall?
I'm expecting you to fight for your life, damn it!
I snap. If Dorum takes the throne, you will not live long enough to see the sun rise the following day. And neither will I.